you start by telling us your name and kind of a fun fact about you?
So I'm John Healey. We live above the shop now, so we're in No.11 Downing Street as we talk. And the first thing we moved in, apart from 20 boxes, which we had to unpack, was a new dartboard. The way I like to relax is playing darts. Not well, but I've always liked playing darts. I played, shouldn't have done, but I played for a local pub team when I was 16, way back at home in North Yorkshire, on the old Yorkshire boards. So those are boards, darts boards without trebles. So it's a pretty good grounding. So I like playing darts.
Like you were saying, it was a while ago now, but what you did before you got into politics?
Before I got into politics, that's a long time ago now. I was a campaigner. For me, the very best politicians at every level, local or national, all parties, are in the end people who want to see things change. We might have a view that's different about what's important to change, but essentially the challenge is the same. You see things around you that aren't right or can be better, and you want to say, all right, I want to do something about that. And in politics, you work with others to try and make those changes. And so I think I'm a politician, but I'm a campaigner in the end.
What is it that you studied? Does your background, change the way that you think now at all?
I was lucky enough, I went to university, but I spent my time playing sport. I ran the university nightline, and just met people that I'd never come across in my life before. And I think that basic sense of being easy with yourself, who you are, confident and comfortable with people from a wide range of backgrounds, I think again is probably part of a good grounding for the best politicians.
Could you tell us one thing you wish you knew when you were 25?
When I was 25, I really wish I'd known how valuable it would be to drink less, sleep more. And my wife Jackie would say, you should have known then, and you should be better now at getting a work-life balance. I'm still working on that.
Imagine that.
40 years on.
What is the most Yorkshire thing about you, would you say?
Well, I was born in Yorkshire, proud to be born in Yorkshire. The most Yorkshire thing, that's where my home is. And, just at the end of the week, as that train starts pulling out of King's Cross Station, heading home, however bad the week's been, just a bit of it falls away.
Growth in every postcode is a huge part of this government's agenda.
100%.
Does that kind of feed into how you work and how you feel now?
No, 100%. I mean, London's just a brilliant capital city, but it does dominate. We're in the middle of Whitehall here. And you've got one street, one postcode, SW1, that so many of the decisions that affect right across the UK have been made for so long. So especially with Andy as Prime Minister, big thrust. Growth in every postcode, activity in every postcode, a sense of hope again in every postcode and every place. We know that there are people who are really struggling. We fill up the car in the same way as everybody else does. I do the supermarket shop. I see the prices over the last 6 months, particularly with the Middle Eastern crisis, start to bite. And I see the direct debits come on my account for the sort of energy bills. You can sort of see this escalation. So we can't insulate and protect everybody from those sort of pressures. But I think you saw from the way that Andy Burnham and alongside him for most of those announcements in that first week, capping bus fares means a great deal to a lot of people, particularly if they don't have or can't afford to run a car, but nevertheless need to get out, need to get to work. You saw us say that we'll take VAT off electricity bills, a little bit of help with the rising cost of energy. And you saw us with particular businesses that are part of making the places we live, the places we love, the pubs, music venues, those sort of things. We can give them a bit of a relief on business rates, and that's what we're going to do. What an extraordinary sense of privilege and pride I've got. He's asked me to be Chancellor, and together that's what we'll try and help the government deliver for people. Was there anything that surprised me in the first 2 weeks? What didn't surprise me was I went back into the Treasury after 20 years, and you've got some of the brightest, best, still young and really committed civil servants there. What did surprise me, I still saw some familiar faces from that time. bit older, a bit greyer, more hair than me still, but yeah, no, a nice combination, and what a great chance to work there again. I last left the Treasury 20 years ago, having been a minister there for 5 years. In some ways, it's just totally familiar. I mean, I remember with Gordon, when he was Chancellor, we're really conscious of the big challenge, giving people and business the confidence that we could manage the public finances, and yet the conditions then were so benign with what this country, this government and people and businesses now face. So the challenge is huge, but what a great opportunity, and what just great strengths this country still has. I tried to set out my priorities on day one when I went into the Treasury. I said, look, as Chancellor, I've got 5 priorities. First is, for any Chancellor, the top priority must be fiscal discipline, because our fiscal credibility is the basis of economic stability, business confidence, and actually national security as well. The second is, as the Prime Minister Andy's been saying, look, we can't relieve the cost of living pressures that we have, but we recognise them, and we can do a bit to give a bit more breathing space on cost of living, and for me as Chancellor, also on cost of business. And then I have 3 other really important priorities. One, I want to see us back Britain, back British business, buy British more consistently, not if possible, but by design. The second is I want to see growth in every postcode so that all parts of the UK feel that they've got a role to play and a part in the future. And third, I want the commitments and policies that we take on as government to be part of helping boost the levels of investment and confidence and profit that we see in British business, because in the end we create the growth, we create the jobs, we create the wealth in this country through businesses and the private sector.
Very nice. Very nice.
Is that right?
That was really lovely, yes. Thank you so much, Will.